guys, welcome back to my vlog. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about pre-screening for college auditions and kind of what that process is like and how to manage it as smartly and efficiently as possible. So what a pre-screen is a lot of times these colleges that have more applicants than some of the other schools will have a pre-screen requirement, which basically means you have to upload a video audition online first, send it into them, and then they decide whether or not to give you an in-person audition. And this may sound kind of cruel, like, oh, you don't deserve an in-person audition, but really what it is they're trying to save your time and their time. So they don't want to make you waste your time traveling to their school or to a unified audition and wasting your time auditioning for a program that they know is not right for you. So essentially it works out and benefits you in the end, even though it can seem kind of cruel and crazy in the beginning. So a lot of more of the top tier schools have these pre-screens. The ones I can think of off the top of my head are Michigan, Ithaca, Florida State, Texas State, OU, Coastal Carolina, Syracuse, Otterbein, Penn State, Shenandoah, and Indiana. I know I'm probably missing a few, but those are the ones that either I pre-screened for or that some of my friends did. So what you're usually going to have to do for these pre-screens, there's this website called Get Accepted, and it's basically the headquarters for all kinds of fine arts auditions for colleges, for summer programs, all that kind of stuff. So you'll go to this website and you'll find the school and the program, like you'll search for it and find it, and then you select which program and degree where you're auditioning for and all that stuff. And then they'll have an informational page with your name and address and phone number and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes they'll ask you for your test scores and your GPA if it's a more academically rigorous school. That can factor into whether or not you pass pre-screens sometimes. I know that one of my friends didn't get past pre-screens for Florida State because of their GPA and test scores. But that's not usually a factor. Sometimes it can be. Then you'll upload a headshot and resume, and then you'll put your videos in it and then submit it, and there'll be an application fee at the end too. So these requirements, the video requirements, usually the standard is 2 contrasting songs and 2 contrasting monologues. That can differ from school to school, varying on what they want. Sometimes it's 2 songs and 1 monologue. I've even seen 2 songs and no monologue, or 1 song, 1 monologue. It just depends on what they're looking for and what they think they need to see. But usually it's 2 songs and 2 monologues, and a 16-bar ballad and a 32-bar up-tempo. Kind of standard audition material, repertoire, that kind of stuff. So, good filming technique for these kinds of things. Basically, you'll want to get a kind of neutral background with good lighting. So I filmed these in my voice teacher's office, and we just put up a sheet over one of the walls, a white sheet, and filmed it in front of that. It doesn't really matter white, black, gray, whatever. They're not gonna pick you or not pick you based off the color of your background of your pre-screens. You're gonna want a good quality recording though, so don't just whip out your iPhone and set it up against the wall and do your stuff. You're gonna want to use a camera, a legitimate camera for this kind of stuff, maybe on a tripod, that kind of thing. Have someone filming it for you. And generally, they would like you to have live accompaniment, not recorded. It depends on the school. Again, a lot of times they'll specify that they want live accompaniment, which just means that you need to have someone playing for you in the video, as opposed to pre-recording it and just piping it through on your phone or your speaker system or whatever. Yeah, and then so a lot of people ask what to wear for this kind of stuff, and the simple answer is just wear what you would wear in an audition. You don't necessarily have to wear the same dress or outfit that you wear for your in-person auditions, but just look nice. Wear a nice dress and heels, or if you're a guy, wear a button-down shirt and a nice pair of pants or something. Just look presentable. This could be your audition for them. So dress like it is. So sometimes it's difficult to tell whether you should apply to the school with your pre-screen. Sometimes the school will ask you to apply before you even submit your pre-screen. That's just dependent upon the school. But sometimes you're not going to want to apply before you get your results back, because then you're spending the time and money to apply for the school and then you don't even pass their pre-screen. So unless it specifies that you have to apply first or apply with your pre-screen, I would suggest not applying until you hear back from those results, just to save you time and money. Or if you have a question on it, like you don't know whether you should or not, just email the theater admissions people there, and they're always super nice. Like, people are so scared to email these people with questions and think that they're gonna think less of you or something. They're not. Like, they are there to help you out. So email them with any questions that you have regarding the audition process, and you can just email them and be like, hey, do I have to apply to the school before I send in my pre-screen? And they'll tell you. They're there for your advantage. Not the one annoying thing, but one of the annoying things about pre-screens is it is essentially like a separate application for the school. So not only are you going to have to pay for the application fee for the school, but you have to pay to send in these pre-screens, which can be kind of a burden. So I would suggest limiting the amount of schools that you send in pre-screens for, because the schools that have pre-screens are usually the more competitive programs. You're probably going to have a smaller chance at getting into multiple of those schools anyway. So really research these programs and find out which ones you're genuinely interested in or you think that you have a good chance of getting into, and then audition for those. Because the standard pre-screen fee, I think, is usually like $30 to $40, which may not seem like a lot, but when you do pre-screens for 10 schools, that's already $300 in pre-screen fees right there, not to mention the application fees for each of those schools, and then everything else on top of that. It can get kind of crazy. And I'll do another video later on regarding the financial aspect of the whole process, so I'll get into that later. So once you send in your pre-screens, usually what's going to happen is within the next, depending on when you send it in, most schools have a pre-screen deadline of December 1st or sometime in the beginning of December. Some of them are in November. But so after all of those pre-screen deadlines have passed, within the next like 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer than that, sometimes it could be shorter than that, it really just depends, you'll get an email or a message on accepted, and they'll send you a message and say whether or not you passed pre-screens or not, and they'll set up your audition date for you. So just don't freak out if you don't hear back within 3 days after you send in your pre-screen, because a lot of times, especially if you send them in early, like in September or October, they're not going to tell you until they hear back from everyone. So that can be kind of a deterrent to send them in really early, is because then you're going to have to wait longer to hear back. But the advantage to sending them in early is then you get first advantage in picking your audition spot. Or, because I know when I got called back for Ithaca, they had you audition in the order that you sent in your pre-screens, basically. So I sent my Ithaca pre-screen in like the day before it was due, so I was like third from the last to audition, and I had to wait like 4 or 5 hours before I could do my callback. So that's the advantage to setting them in early. So just kind of keep in mind of that. Maybe you want to do somewhere in the middle. That's totally up to you. But also, if you get an email back and you didn't pass their pre-screen, don't worry about it. I mean, then you just know that it wasn't the right school for you. Don't freak out. Even if it was your dream school, then do you really want a school that isn't even going to want to see you in person? I mean, just don't get too worked up whether or not you pass pre-screens or not, because you will find the perfect school for you. You will find a school that wants you, I promise. So just don't worry about it. With the whole pre-screen process, it can be kind of annoying, and it can be very frustrating and tedious, I know, but it'll all be worth it in the end. And once you get to like February and March, and you're gonna look back and think, wow, that was a piece of cake. Not really, you're not gonna think that, but it'll all be behind you, and it'll all be worth it in the end. So thanks for watching my video. Tune in soon for my next video coming up.